Sanibonani. I have a theory that haunts my mind.
A trillion shades in my color spectrum.
Really, got a theory that haunts my mind. So this theory, I believe that we were once highly evolved species, and things happened to the point where we are now. So we've been de-evolving, and there's a reason why the theory of evolution, the official one, is not complete for me. So I believe this, and I believe there's a group of individuals, watchers, that are manipulating us to believe in our reality. You know, from being highly evolved to where we are now, been made to believe more into the lower world than the upper world. There's a plot to keep us on this lower plane. And how you do that, even religiously, spiritually, you do that by focusing more on the matter. You do that by the love of matter, and you disconnect from the upper world, from the upper planes. You know, by disconnecting from our higher self, we really disconnect from who we are. And we have this, this confusion. And this is the story of the humankind. This is the story of us. This is the story of the human race. That's why we keep doing the same things all over and over again. We don't learn, and we still come back and repeat the same mistakes because of this disconnection. So I believe that when we were highly evolved to a point that we lived in many planets, in many of the planets in our, in and outside our solar system, which now we don't even have the knowledge of that, and we're still trying to discover what already we knew. That's why when we see some of the structures and some of the pyramids, we don't really understand how they were made. But we are the same people who made that. We all the time when we reincarnate, we come back. Obviously, we come back clean without any records of the life we lived before. So we have these stories that we hear that the humankind has actually went through. After 1,000 years, after a couple of thousands of years, there's a disaster in the world, on earth, and a few people survive. But after that, a new generation is born. And from what we know, when souls reincarnate, they don't have the past memories. So we look at the world as it is, like a small baby. A small baby will look at the world the way that the world is when that baby is born. When a baby is born in 2050, probably there'll be flying cars then. A baby will look at the world in that view, and a baby will understand the world in that way. So we don't have the past memories. We have the story of these teachers who come to earth, every now and then, teach the earth, teach the humans how to live in harmony with the earth, and they perish, and they come back again and again after a few years, after a few centuries. So this is a story that keeps occurring, from the story of Jesus, from the story of the Buddha. We have a lot of them. So we know of these stories, and we know of technology that is very old, very, very old, and it's thousands and thousands of years, and it's crazy. It doesn't even make sense how it actually was developed then, considering the technology, because we think of technology that we have now. So yeah, this is my theory. If you think about it, we have records of telepathy, people communicating without any words, any verbal action, and we have this thing about this language that was spoken, the world language, and we know there were connections from Asia to Africa of these structures that we don't even understand now. So when you think about that, we don't know if it's the same thing as if you come back, if you die and reincarnate, say in 50 years time, then things will be totally different. You don't remember your past life, and all you can go with is what's in front of you. So this is the thing, and by then you will have a visual reality, and with that, this is I want you to really understand me. This is what I'm saying. I don't want you to say maybe I am crazy with this theory, because really I believe when I say we were highly evolved, I believe that we could live anywhere we wanted. We could live on the moon if we wanted. And I believe we actually lived in some of these planets. That's why we have unexplained structures, say on something like the moons, one of the moons of Jupiter. We have a structure that looks man-made, but it's not explained. Even NASA won't tell you what that is. So we have these things, we have a lot of things that can't be explained. We have records, like I said, of languages that were spoken all over the world, one language. Records of telepathy, meaning in that way we could, and this is true, because with love, with sympathy, we are able to connect as the humankind. So you are able to feel my pain, I'm able to feel your pain. That's how we are connected in that way. But what disconnected us was the trauma. The trauma was too much for the human race to handle. So the only thing was to actually disconnect from this web, this web of consciousness, which we are still part of. So yeah, my theory is that I really think we've lived almost in all of the habitable planets, and some of them were habitable then, and because of us, through the disasters that we hear about, we actually contributed in destroying those planets, like what is coming now, because we can see the earth is getting very bad. You know, it's gonna get to a point where we can't live here. But now, and you hear of people talking about living, another civilization being continued at Mars, in Mars, and then that is okay. Then I think, according to my theory, I think that was possible because we had all these other planets which were untouched by humans, of course, and Earth was one of those planets, and that's why we ended up here on Earth. But we don't have any memories of what happened, and we've been really getting, I'll just say it straight, we've been getting dumb. We've been dumbing down. So I believe this, and our IQ level is dropping as well. And that is because of a lot of things, which I think actually still contributed then. The way we eat, we've changed our diet completely. And just to take it to the spiritual side of things, I believe that we are here. When God created us out of love. So it was His way of spreading love. That's why He created us, and our purpose is to do the same, is to create and spread that love. But when God created us, He couldn't sit us down, tell us that this is how the world is. This is how I am, not the world. This is how I am as God, as your creator. This is how I am. This is what I deal with. This is the right side. This is the left side, and this is positive. This is negative. But God created this system where we could experience this, where we could actually go learn and become like God, and become God, and become love that God is, that the Creator is. So this is why we're here on earth. We are here on earth to learn, to be this great, benevolent whole, this oneness, this love. So we go through everything. We are here on earth to do that. And what the earth does, the matter, because the earth is more about the five senses. So it's physical. You can see it, you touch it, you can smell, you can, that's how we operate here, and that is important. But at the same time, we have to think of the upper kingdom, which operates in a different way. So we can't just focus on the matter, but at the same time, we can't just ignore the matter. So we have to keep the balance. We don't have to be fascinated by the matter, but the matter has this thing about it. It's to us, it's very fascinating. Unlike animals, unlike the plants, unlike the other kingdoms of nature, we happen, and I think in terms of that, as I said, all these other kingdoms, they don't create. So we create. We've created the world that we live in, which I'm gonna say it goes against the way that we created this world, goes against the way that the Creator created us out of love. The Creator intended us to live in this world, to see this world, create in this world, create the technology that we're creating. But when we create this technology, He wanted us to understand and get the wisdom of actually using this technology in a right way, rather than using it in a wrong way and harming the environment, harming the world that the Creator created. So we had to create, or to make our own creation, but in accordance with His creation or her creation. So we're at a point now where I believe there is a group of watchers, a group of angels, of souls that understand exactly what I'm talking about, that when they reincarnate, they somehow have this speciality of remembering the past life, and they've kept that going for some centuries. So it's been, they've made sure, they've made ways and plans to make sure that this system doesn't crash.